Welcome everyone again. This is the first stream, and we're going to talk about tech interviews at takeaway.com. And my guest is Sabrican today. Sabrican works as a lead software developer at takeaway.com in Berlin. And I know him for more than 10 years. And I know that he worked in banking and cruising industries before, and now working in food delivery industry. And we worked together for almost 2 years, I guess, in Istanbul. And he's one of the most humble people I know. And so, yeah, without further ado, welcome, Sabrican.
Hey, man. Thanks for inviting me to this. I'm a bit nervous, so let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm a bit too, so don't worry. And we are like all kind of friends here. So everything should be fine. So, tell me a bit about the company. So how big is the takeaway.com? Like how big is the engineering? In which section do you work? Like a bit introduction.
Sure, I can actually go through a little bit of the whole career that I have in the takeaway. Because in 2.5 years I have been here, it got enormous. And it got big really fast in this time. When I was joining my team, specifically, the team was 15 people. But right now, we cannot tell that we are a team because we are like 100 people. We kind of a department right now. And the takeaway.com, basically by buying the other companies in the Europe and some acquiring some big companies like Delivery Hero, and in the last year merging with Just Eat, it got into a point that I don't know. We have around 6 engineering offices around the world, and around it should be more than 400 engineers at this point.
400 engineers?
Yeah.
How many people are in the like overall company? Do you know?
Well, when I joined, there was around 600. In 1 year, it was up to 1,000 to 1,500, and now it's I don't know. It's just too much, too many people.
Yeah, Abdullah has a question like, where is the main operation? I think where is the headquarters at the moment?
The headquarters of the takeaway, the European side at least, as far as I know, it's inside Netherlands. We have 2 offices in Netherlands. One of them is in Enschede and one of them in Amsterdam. In Enschede, we do the engineering, and in Amsterdam, we have marketing and some business headquarters.
So, like, as you also mentioned that you bought some competitors in the mostly German-speaking countries, like in Europe. And how was this, like, how was the merging process? So tell us about a bit getting bigger in a really short time. How was it on your side, on the engineering side, also in the company?
Well, I think in every side it was a little bit catastrophic, or I would say since this merger or buying or acquisitions are really fast. Basically, they were buying 5 to 10 companies each year. We had our own roadmap inside the restaurant logistics. I will talk about restaurant logistics mostly about that because that's the part that I'm working intensively. So in that one we have our roadmap, but with these acquisitions and additions, we always had to maneuver to something that they needed in the business side, so that we can fulfill the business, or we can basically scale in order to satisfy the customers efficient way. So basically we had some roadmaps, but everything changed in the way, and for a long time we had to like save the day kind of thing. And right now we are here in a good, I would say, in a good place.
So Zach, Fatih has a question. I'm also curious about that part a bit. So do you share so since you got merged with different companies, and how is the tech stack side? So like, do you share the same infrastructure? And how is the separation, and how is the thing, like how the merge happened on the engineering side?
So it's they have like on the business side they have this idea. Our CEO has this idea, basically that whichever website you're going, you will be seeing the orange and the white letters, and it's basically doesn't have to be takeaway.com, because as Fatih said, if you're going from the Netherlands, you will be going to Thuisbezorg, or if you're in Germany, Lieferando.de, because basically the people are knowing this branch of this company.
Yeah, it's all about brand awareness, basically.
Exactly. So it's basically going into the brand that you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Now I understand. So it's like you're working in Berlin at the moment. I mean, you are working not working in the office because of the pandemic. But how is the situation afterwards? Like, are you gonna go back to office, or the company is gonna go full remote or partial remote? Is there any strategy defined at the moment?
Currently, it's in a bit of shaky mode. Like currently, we don't really have kind of a roadmap because in most of the companies, as you can see, they don't. I mean, some of them has, but we don't really have the full remote plan ahead. At least it looks like that. So we are hoping that Corona ends as soon as possible, and then we can jump into our normal lives in our offices.
Yeah, but you provide, when people are moving in, you provide more like a relocation package or support during the visa process, right?
As far as I know, yeah.
Okay.
So in these 2.5 years, we have acquired a lot of people from all over Europe.
Yeah.
And since they were moving, we were covering some of the expenses. As far as I know, yeah.
Yeah. We talked about like I said, the brand awareness, as you said, also the thing that people always know that the orange and the white name on it is the brand awareness, basically. But how do you feel when people are talking about these brands or takeaway? Because I don't have a really good experience, but it is more on the service side. So not in the app or website or anything, like not on the engineering side, but on the service side, I have a lot of problems. But how do you feel when people are talking about what they say?
It's a really nice question, because there are so many things to improve.
Yeah.
And I also agree. The people are the feedback that's coming from the people. Nearly all of my friends have a bad experience with takeaway before. But as far as I can tell, we are working really hard to fix all of these problems, and trying to improve. Slowly, but at least trying to get to somewhere. I think we can definitely have some improvements also in the tech side. But as far as I can say, that's not something that I can be affect this to change, but mostly the people that are in the consumer side.
Yeah.
Because where I'm working is mostly what we call Scuba, what we call the restaurant logistics. So we are actually working on the price model that Takeaway gives you, so that if you are a restaurant without a courier, that's where we get in.
Okay.
So we handle your couriers, and then all these side products that you're going to use, etc. yeah, on that side we will be improving more
Yeah, sure.
because I can be like affected on that one. But
Yeah.
I absolutely know that there are like a lot of really nice, really good developers trying to improve the consumer front end or
Yeah.
products.
Yeah, we are going to talk about how you got these nice or skillful developers today. But let me ask you one more question. Like, why do you work at there? Why do you work at Takeaway? Like, what do you like there that you can also recommend other people that you can say?
For me, the job was mostly about the people. Because I mean, you talk with people, you work with them every day, and then in every aspect, you need to have like good people in order to make good things, basically. And that's my answer, basically, because inside the Scuba, inside the restaurant logistics, I believe that I have the best people around me, and I love working with them. And yeah, that's mostly the thing that is keeping me inside this company. Nice people, cooperation, collaboration, positive thinking, and yeah, proactive thinking.
Yeah, so when you have the great team, it's always the rest is generally easy. That's as also my experience. So it's totally understandable. I have I want to go a bit on the engineering side slowly. And first question that I have is that do you have an engineering philosophy? Like, I mean, what is more important on the engineering side? Like ship fast and fail or fix it on the way, or directly ship high quality, but it will take, as all of us know almost, that it will take a bit longer. So do you have any philosophy or any style in the engineering department or in your department directly?
I think about the front end or maybe the Scuba or restaurant logistics, I can say that the word for us is the flexibility. The roadmap, the things that you planned, these things are always changeable. It's just because the company's situation, because some of the companies you don't see this. Some of the companies have like some time for like 8 months that it just linearly grows, and you will have some time to do some I don't know, maintenance on the way. But in this one, even though you have like a fully yearly plan made, something could change and you have to rearrange everything. That's why we don't plan so far ahead, and we are mostly focusing on what is the most pressuring issue that we can fix it in a short time. And about the features, of course, we are aiming for excellence, but there are things that needs to be done. Yeah. And I would say the people I'm working with is most like a pragmatic than just aiming for excellency and requiring more time. I would say, yeah, they are trying to focus on what we can do with the time given in the best way possible. Yeah, it's basically the kind of a philosophy that we're trying to do inside our teams.
Okay, I understand. So let's start with the interview process, because this is our main topic today, and I think I got the general information, so I can, based on the information you gave, I can place myself in the interview process. And so tell us the story of the interview process, like in which steps like you do, and so when I apply to Takeaway. And what are the hiring stages? So in which steps do you have currently?
So first of all, let's just clear this thing up, that inside the Takeaway.com, there are multiple teams and multiple hiring processes. Unfortunately, not every hiring process is the same for every part of the team. So we have, for example, we have offices in Israel. We have offices in Sofia, Berlin, and Enschede, Netherlands. So in these offices there could be different hiring processes, and the things that I'm saying might not apply to all of the things. But in Berlin, inside the restaurant logistics team, inside the front end team specifically, how I can speak is we have 4 main steps, and it could be like more depending on how sure we would like to go with the candidate. But basically, the candidate applies us from by referral or inside the careers at Takeaway.com, and then our recruiter sees like about a year and a half ago, I was the one that is actually looking for the CVs, and it was taking so much time of me.
You were 15 people, right, at that time? Like how many you said before? How many? 20?
2 years, around 2 years ago, we have 15 to 20 people.
Okay, so it
and inside our team, and there were so like too little recruiters for us to look into all the CVs that we are getting. So we had to jump into that process too. But right now, fortunately, we have like a huge recruitment team that is helping us kind of filtering this CVs. And then there will be like a coding challenge coming, depending on the level of the people. Then there's a tech interview after the coding challenge, if we find the coding challenge worthy, and if we have like a good vibes from it. And at the end, we really care about the team meeting, and we are actually trying to gather as many as Scuba people to meet this new candidate. So we will have like a really good feeling in order to move on with them. Basically this.
So you start with a recruiter process, which means like they get the CV and then they take a look at the CV, and then they give you like a good to go or not, depending on in which level you are looking for as in the candidate. So I want to ask a bit normally we will go with the tech interviews directly, but I want to ask a couple of questions regarding CVs, since also you mentioned that you were taking a look at the CVs before.
Yeah.
And what do you think about like what kind of CVs stand out when you first see them? Do you take a look at the cover letter, or what kind of CVs do you think stand out?
Before then, I think there were some people sending us the cover letters, and we were basically skimming them because it was like a little bit of a chaotic time that I had to do this and that and get more people, and it was like a bottleneck because you have a lot of things to do. If you have more people, they can work, but if you focus on that, your work is piling up. It's like a kind of a cycle, a vicious cycle that's kind of eating you. But basically, every day I had like some time to look into the CVs, around like 30 minutes or 1 hour. And what I am doing for every CV is basically looking at them around 5 minutes. I don't think more is needed. And in that CVs, I'm just looking into the things that this person has been doing. What are the accomplishments? How long is the CV is really important, because if it's like a 5 pages, you cannot find the good things that this person has done, because I cannot skim 5 pages in 5 minutes. It will be like taking too much time from me.
So basically, it's like a short, not 5 pages, but maybe 1 or 2 that directly displays what are the accomplishments, what are the critical things that these people achieved.
Yeah.
So you can get a better judgment on them, right?
Exactly. Like which industries they worked on, which are the applications they have been doing. Maybe like the GitHub links. It's really important if they have been doing something open source. Stuff like that is really like I really find them very important. Or if they have been in some meetups, giving talks. stuff like that. It always gets me interested in those things. Other than that, I really don't like people sending us the Microsoft Word documents because that's always like a hassle. Just send PDF. That's one important thing. And yeah, I mean, in general, the things that you are proud of in one page.
In one. Yeah.
I
Okay.
would say.
So I see, like, people are listing the job experiences, or maybe if they are graduated from the university, they just list the whatever they have as an internship or not. So, or there are some people like directly went into boot camps, or maybe they are self-developed. They develop themselves like by taking some online courses or learning by themselves. So I like, is the university education, or like this education part is always a topic in industry. And is this important for you then when you are looking at the CV? Like, do you take a look which universities or which schools they've been graduated, or they were there?
Okay, so like this is like a important topic because if you are joining from outside of the Germany, I think you need to somehow have some kind of a certification about like CS or some kind of engineering, so that you can be like a computer engineer or entitled here. Other than the fact that you need to do that if you're joining from the outside, from some countries, I don't really look into it myself. I would mostly look into the things that what have this person do before, like what are the products, what are the open source thingies, what are the talks, these kind of things. That's most.
So you want to see the result, basically. So the education is not directly a result, but rather a bit long process, and you cannot get the idea of, because I mean, so you don't know if they are graduated from a university in like, let's say, Tunisia or in Israel. You have no idea about that university, so it doesn't matter. And also, so you don't know in which level the universities are or what they have done, but you can compare them by taking a look at that, what they have done until they graduate, right? So it's like, did they do any open source? Doesn't matter is it open source or not, but maybe it can be a product or something else that they can just show, right? I don't like generally personally forcing people to do open source or talks and etc. But what matters is mostly the something that you can show. They can you can see as an interviewer. I think that's the point.
Exactly. I mean, with some candidates, since they were like really good at the things that they were presenting, like they had like their own websites, or they had some public works that they can show us. We have sometimes skipped the code challenge, because basically looking into those websites, we can also see how is the person is doing. How good is this person, as good at the end product, etc.
That's nice to hear. So that also relate that one, is perfect English a criteria for you? So do you take a look at perfect English?
Since you can see it on like me that it's not a really important thing. The important thing is that you need to be understanding and proactive about the things, proactive about the cultural differences, because that's basically the most important thing. It comes to that thing mostly, because there will be so many differences between the people, and you should be like open-minded and inclusive about what the people are saying, and should not take the words into your cultural context, because a person might not mean that when you are, when you're taking it in your context.
Yeah, sure. I mean, every culture has different communication style, and like I think these kind of international companies, like majority of the people are not native English speakers, so it is okay, at least for me personally, also, that if a candidate cannot speak English perfectly, it's okay. If I can understand what they mean, and if they can understand what I mean, then it's okay. It's enough.
Absolutely.
In general.
Yeah.
I have a last question regarding the CVs. Do you take a look at like past programming languages or the frameworks? So they say you are looking for a senior developer, or maybe some higher levels, doesn't matter, or even juniors. So do you take a look at, like, they say, do you expect that they used React, for example, or they use JavaScript, or maybe they just use Java only, one specific language, or Python even? So are these things generally a criteria for you?
They have some kind of a bonus point affection. I think it should be something like that, and it differentiates between the senior role and the junior position, because in the senior role, for example, we have hired a person that gave us an Angular code challenge, even though we are asking we are saying that React would be a bonus. He did in Angular, and we were like really impressed with it. And then we just hired him. And if you are a senior, basically the language should not be something that should be limiting you. In the junior case, I would say just because of how you should adapt into the environment, a basic JavaScript knowledge or HTML CSS knowledge is absolutely needed, and that's what we are looking for.
Okay.
Of course, if you worked in React, because most of our technology is basically React, of course this would be a plus point for you, and you are gonna be like getting used to the environment faster than the other people. But the ability to learn is the best thing about juniors. About the senior is mostly about how a person did this code challenge. So is it like scalable, or how are the tests looking? Why he choose this technology over that? Stuff like that. The questions are different. Differentiates between the code challenges, I would say.
Okay. So let's the second step is, after the CV screening and tech recruiter, the second step is coding challenge. So I assume that as like a kind of industry standard at the moment, just sending a test to candidate to see how they are performing in a given project. What are you looking for in these coding challenges? And can you tell us a bit about what is the coding challenges? Like, what do you look for? Coding skills, or maybe testing the code as they write it, or problem solving skills, or maybe collaboration skills? I don't know. Abdullah,
I can answer that, but I just saw me sending stuff, but I guess it's not me. So the coding skills, inside the coding challenge, what we're looking for is basically how your app is structured. We have like a list of things that we go through when we are looking into it. Basically, more than one people has to look into it, and then give like a thumbs up or some kind of evaluation about it. How the technology, the tools are being used. There are like multiple steps: the testing, and how scalable is this application, how easy to read the code, stuff like that. It's pretty generic things. Actually, we are going through, and we also discuss about the code challenge. with the colleagues about the approach that the candidate has taken. And yeah, we basically have some kind of a feedback at the end of this discussion, and then and this feedback could be also showed into to the candidate. Or yeah, it depends on like how the candidate wants, like if they want like a feedback why we rejected the code challenge, we can also like present this, etc., stuff like that.
So in this, like you said, so you gather together with your colleagues and talk about the coding challenge, and you are discussing the approach and etc. But like, what specifically do you talk there? As like, you got the code challenge from the candidate, and everyone take a look by themselves in the team, and then you get together, and what do you talk there? So in which approaches do you approach to the coding challenge or the test that you got the code?
What I am doing is mostly like going over the list of the things that we have already approved in the beginning before the code challenge, like the things that we are going to look, how he has been using his HTML skills, his CSS, and the JavaScript skills. If he used React, which version he used, if he is using the new hooks in a way that we would like to see, or some people are trying to use these new technologies, new things that is being presented, but in a way that it's not really nice to like read, or you can also see like it's not scalable. Because there are like things that I'm not gonna get very super deep into it, but basically we have some kind of a standard that we are looking for in this test, and these standards of course changes between the senior level and the junior level, and yeah, we are basically looking into these when we are assessing it, and then trying to give feedback to the people that are looking also. One thing that is important, that not all the people inside the team is not looking into this. Basically, the people that are interested in that has some kind of experience can look into it. Basically, starting from like the seniors and the mid-levels, some of the mid-levels can look into the
so you're like 100 people, right? It will be like a huge time investment if everyone takes a look.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, in the front end, we are only focusing on the front end, and the front end team. Somebody was asking, how big is your team? Inside the front end team, we are currently 10 people, and we are hiring.
Who doesn't?
Little advertisement. And inside that team, there are like mostly 4 people, including myself, doing this code challenge checking, and it's already so many.
Okay. So, Oksan, I will ask that question at the end of it. I already had that question in mind. So after taking a look at the code, and you discuss together with your colleagues and everything, and then you said you give feedback sometimes. So my question is, don't you give feedback always, or only when people ask again if they can give feedback, or how do you approach this? Because personally, I don't like when people just say, no, we don't like you. This is, for me at least, when I apply to a company and I just get after the test result, no, it's failure, so bye-bye. This always makes me feel sad, because I think that I'm investing time and the company is investing maybe even more time, because you are taking a look at like 5 to 6 people together. And it means that everyone spends 15 minutes. It's more than an hour already. And then I don't get any feedback if I apply to a company. And this makes me feel bad. And how do you approach this? So you always provide feedback, or?
To the recruiters, we always try to like give reasons why we didn't like this code challenge, and basically to our also own colleagues when we're writing inside the Slack channel, like we also like say, okay, this is the plus side and these are the minus, and I think the reason that we should not get this person is these stuff like that. So it's very, I would say it's as scalar as possible. Of course, there are some stuff that are controversial, and we have to discuss about it. And these are like also improving ourselves in general, because when you discuss about the approaches, you're also like improving yourself in the team. But basically, the thing that what we can do is giving the feedback to the recruiter, and until that point, since they have the contact with themselves, they can either like share this this thing that we have giving or not. That's the problem with it, maybe. And I think this is something that I don't know if I can change it. But if a person is literally like asking us what are the reasons, because that happened before, we have written like, okay, this, and here's your answer. That's why you have not got any.
Okay. Oh, I understand. Yeah. As I said, it's like when I get the rejection letter, I always ask to get some more feedback. And when I was on the hiring side in my in the company that I'm working in, I was always trying, but sometimes there are some like many things happening in the company. You have a lot of work to do, and you need to list these things down, write and send a nice email, and etc. This is always a challenge and time consuming. Sometimes we just skipped, but I always felt bad also skipping these kind of things. Yeah. So let's go talk about a bit technical interviews. So you said you have technical interviews. What are they? I mean, what does the technical interview mean after the coding challenge? So what do you do there?
So I haven't had any coding challenges that doesn't have questions after the challenge. So basically, in this interview, we talk about the coding challenge that has been given us, the things that we like, the things that can be improved. We talk with if we have the discussion about the approach that the candidate took. We talk with that person. Why did you take this approach? What was the idea behind it, and things like that to explain what was the mindset behind. Of course, there are some also questions about, I would say, general questions, not like direct questions like, okay, let's talk about the specificity in CSS. It's not something like that, but mostly, why did you use this kind of technology? What do you know about stuff like that, etc. Of course, this is like one part of the, I would say, the meeting, and in the other part, we are also interested in the soft skills of the candidate. By soft skills, I don't mean like what's your favorite food, stuff like that, or how are you working right now? How, like, what are the things that is important to you? Because in a way, as I said in the beginning, we really care about the people, and we really want to work with a person that is proactive about the things that we're working. That's the most important thing for us. And we also challenge him on those areas with the questions that we have that I cannot say.
Yeah, of course. Some things should be disclosed, I guess.
Yeah.
So as I understand it, you're taking a look at the approach of like let's say problem-solving ability, or also the communication skills, because I assume that this person should be able to explain why they took that approach, and also maybe analytical thinking skills, let's say. and also at the same time the culture fit, right?
Yeah.
As I see, like the soft skills, the culture fit, are these people are okay in a team, and so do you ask, for example, do you ask to the candidate, maybe it's like zooming out from the application code, like they say they did a coding challenge and then it's done, everything is cool, but do you try to ask them more the broader questions, not but like more applying the coding challenge into the more scale? Because I assume that your coding challenge will be related to the work that you are doing. The problem that you are giving to the candidate should be related to the food industry, I just assume, or some screens of your product. Maybe that's at least that's what we were doing in it before. So be able to understand, to be able to see that they are also knowing or maybe trying to find out the business side a bit. That was the reason. And do you try to ask them or approach them that they should apply the learnings from the coding challenge to some broader picture, some the products?
First things first, I think the coding challenge itself is not super related with the business that we are doing, but the technology that they're using inside, or the product that they're doing, is going to be helpful with the things that we're working on inside the takeaway, because we are actually asking like something that is I would say relatively different than the normal front-end application. And yeah, at this point, we are actually like trying to assess a person's flexibility to learn this thing and then try to come up with a solution in on his own time. That's basically the aim that we are trying to have to get the flexibility of this person. How can this person learns this thing and then applies to a product that could be very stupid, and how would it look? How would I don't know, how can a person can apply this new thing into a product that they just learned? I don't know if I explain it.
Yeah, it's okay, because the question is a bit vague also. It's okay. One thing I always felt in these interviews, that when I applied to a job, it's almost like 90% feels like it's one-sided. I mean, the company will accept me or not. So it is always this question, the one-sided thingy. And it is a weird experience, because personally, I think that it's a two-sided story, and you need to like the company. You need to be in what they are doing. And also the company should like you. I mean, the company is basically the team that you are going to work with. But how do you feel? Like, is it one-sided for you also? Like when you are doing the interview, or also on the other side when you're applying?
Some people actually, like, since they got used to this idea that the company, you have to like sell yourself to the company, like you're a good person, that you should be hired. This kind of an idea is so popular around, that some people are like this. Some people are just trying too hard to sell, like, look what I did this, I did that, but they don't really understand that we are also on the other side is trying to get you, because if you're that good, we would like to get you. This is like a two-sided thing, and since this is the situation, I always give at least like 15 minutes at the end of the interview, in order to, if they have like a question for us, if they have like things for them to, like, I don't know, resolve how we are working, if you're happy in this company, what's the worst thing about this company. These are the questions that they're asking in these part, and at this point we have to be like trustful with them.
Yeah,
we have to tell them what are the things that we have to overcome, what are the things that really bothering me, and what are the best things inside this company, why am I in this. And I feel like this way is making the candidate closer to the position, closer to your place, or pushes and finishes the interview process. In each case, I think it's a win, because you don't want a person that wants to be in this environment. And if the person is getting closer to you, that person, that people you want in next to you when you're dealing with the problems. And that's what the idea is about. I also try to give as many information as possible in the beginning of our interview about how big is the team, what are the things that we value, etc. So yeah, the biggest problem for me is not knowing what's happening inside the company when I take an interview. And I try to be a person that is doing this interview as open as possible, so that a person can understand what they are taking into, what they're getting into.
Okay, yeah. It's always, as I said, it's always felt that it's one-sided. But when I'm doing interview, it always feels like it's a two-sided. So it's a weird combination. But I agree what you said. Also, like, I have one question about diversity. Which steps, like, do you take some specific steps to increase the diversity in the company? What do you take into account? Like, what do you do in general for diversity?
Yeah, inside the hiring process, I don't think we have like a specific action or thing to do, but in order to attract people, I know that we are using some channels to advertise, to get the diverse people's attention. We have also have been talking with women tech masters. Before Corona, we had many meetups. It was also aiming junior people. Like there was one meetup that is presenting you how to create your CV. How you should do it so that you can like get in front, stuff like that, like very basic stuff that happened. But in general, in Berlin, in front end, this is somehow it's not so problematic, because currently in my team right now there are 8 people and there are 8 different nationalities. The problem is mostly in order like to combine them into one culture that everything works really well. So we don't really have some kind of a problem about diversity, specifically in front end. I'm really happy about it. But yeah, this is something that kind of Berlin gives you.
True. You're basically normally as a takeaway, not maybe in your team, but as a takeaway, you sponsor the organizations to attract more people. Okay. I'm like more. I have one more question about tech interviews. So, how do you improve the tech interview process? Like, how do you decide which parts needs improvement? I assume maybe you will get feedback from some candidates, but how do you decide to which, like saying that, okay, this part is not working. Maybe our coding challenge is too hard, or maybe we need to tweak the tech interview side. Like, how do you decide to make an improvement?
We are basically totally depending on the recruiters, and at that point, because mostly the feedback that we're getting is coming from recruitment.
Okay.
In that way, so basically they are saying, okay, the code challenge has this problems. How can we solve it? And we basically talk about it, discuss about how we can do it, and try new tools nearly like every 6 months. We are trying to have some kind of a different tool or way in order to improve it. Yeah, but in general, with the current way, we are somehow reaching our goals to grow and not so many problems. Yeah, so it's going well, but we don't stop improving because some feedbacks are really important, and there are always some people saying, okay, these are the problems that I'm getting, etc. So yeah, it's basically like that.
I want to ask Oksana's question, last one. How many female developers do you have? So related to the previous the topic, diversity.
Inside the front end, inside front end, we have 3 people, and 5 male, and we also hired 1 more each. So it's like 40%, I would say, right now. It's pretty nice, and I hope that we will have like more females at some point.
Yeah, maybe from all genders.
Also.
Yeah. So I want to ask the previous question from Oksana, actually, the 2 previous. What was the worst experience, that interview that you have had with a candidate? So like, what are the red flags for your team? Or maybe what are the biggest mistakes you have seen in the candidates?
I think it's also like a very generic answer that I have. Mostly when we are asking, like, so in general, we have like this really important things that are in our minds. Like, so the teamwork is one of the things, the flexibility and the openness. These 3 things are really important for us. And if we think that the candidate is failing one of these 3, it is starting to become yellow or even red. So in that sense, a person that wants to work on his own all the time is someone that we might not interested in, because we are totally dependent on teamwork, and we would like to like have a team that is totally dependent on each other with knowledge nodes on it. So that could be like one thing that we have seen before, that one person said, which is totally fine, by the way, to my point, but this is not something that we need inside our team. One person said, I want to have like the tickets, and I want to work on myself, and I want to finish them, and that's it. And I don't want to do anything. So this is perfectly fine in the tech industry. It's just something that we are not looking for.
So your worst interview was with that person, you say?
I would say there can be like worse, but
that's why I was asking. What's the worst one?
I need to think about it. Actually, I don't have like, oh my god, this one was the worst. There was some of them that we had like issues with communication, that we didn't really understand each other, and this was very nervous. Like, even though you don't think when you are the interviewee, when you are the candidate, you are always nervous, right?
Yeah,
you don't
sure,
think,
of course.
You don't think the person that is in front of you can be nervous, but also the person that is interviewing you can nervous in this kind of situations, because you don't know sometimes what to do. I would say like, yeah, we didn't understand each other. We had like very long discussions about what do you mean about this and that, and it took into some levels that we really didn't want to like discuss about the issues that has been talked before. Maybe that one can be like a good candidate for this question.
Okay, mine was so we were hiring, and then my experience with the worst candidate was We sent the coding challenge. We got the coding challenge back, and coding challenge was not really great. And I had like maybe 15 questions about the coding challenge. And then one thing I always try to do is that whatever we get as from the coding challenge, if it is not like if it is really not we are looking for, we eliminate the person. It's not the case. But if I have some questions, even though I have 15 or 20, I try to schedule the next step and then start talking about them because I want to understand and also give feedback. And at that interview, it was the person was from Vietnam, and that person was in Vietnam from a very bad internet connection, and then we didn't understand each other. And we spent 45 minutes. I was trying to explain a question, and that person was trying to answer a different question. It was like, I said, okay, this was totally waste of time, and I will never do that again. And this was my worst interview process. I also I'm curious about then let's say what were the top 3 or 2 maybe questions that you got as the best questions that really you thought, oh, that's a really nice question. What was it like? Do you have some top 2 or 3?
I don't know. I don't have it off the top of my head, but showing interest to the team is really important. Like what are the things that you're doing? Showing also interest in the personal development, because we are also very intensely trying to support the people inside the team with the personal development of their own, because we don't want people to work on the project all the time stressfully and mostly focusing on how to improve yourself, because if you improve yourself, you will improve the team at some point.
Yeah.
These kind of questions, like the questions that are opening up this ways is really nice ones. Do you have 80-20? What do you think about 80-20? Or I don't know, questions like what are the worst things that you don't like in the team and how do you deal with them? Or the small question like how do you deal conflicts inside your team?
Yes.
Stuff like that I think it's really important, and that's what I would ask, and that's what I would like to be asked, because these kind of things I think should be important when you're joining to a new team.
Yeah, 100% I agree. I think the conflict question or the team structure question are more important, at least for me too, because I think the tech part or the software development part that you can mostly educate or handle in an easier way, let's say, but the team structure or team organization questions or the problems that the team is facing, they are more problematic, or they are harder to handle.
Exactly.
Yeah. So we are coming to an end, and so what is your best tip to the people who would like to apply to take away then?
Yeah, I actually count them before. What we are looking at specifically in my team is teamwork, flexibility, and openness. If you think that you have all these things, then feel free to apply for it. The tech stacks, the things that are technical, needs some kind of a base. But if you have that base, we can deal with the rest of it. It's it's really easy to get over the technical problems rather than getting over the social problems. So that's what I can suggest to the people that try to don't be afraid of saying I don't know this, because this thing is happening so many times that we know that this person doesn't know this and trying to explain, and it's something really I don't know, it's something not nice when you are on the other end of it. Just say, I don't know this, but I think it could be something like that. And this is getting you in a certain level that is really, really valuable.
Yeah, you are basically looking for the problem-solving approach, right? That's I also felt that, and I also tried to get maybe expected from candidates when I was interviewing. It's like, do you have open-ended questions? And these are also okay, at least my personal side. That when I get the question, I start to think during the interview, these questions I like a lot. And I totally agree regarding saying, I don't know. And when we ask to candidates many questions, we don't expect them that they know all of them. And they shouldn't, maybe they even shouldn't know all of them. Because then if they know everything, then most probably they will require more salary. Maybe they are more experienced than what we are looking for. That might even can be a problem. I mean, even you never know. But I always expect saying that, okay, I don't know this, but it can be related to that one. Or maybe we can approach, if we can approach it like this, then it might be solvable in this way, and etc. I think it's a very, very nice tip. Yeah. I thanks a lot. So we skipped some questions in the chat because I thought they are not really related to tech interviews. But one more question before we close up: how people can find more about takeaway.com jobs? Is it like where is your career page? Is it career.takeaway.com or just Google?
Careers. Yeah, you can just Google, but careers, jobs.takeaway.com should be the one. You can also connect me in Twitter. Just drop me a message that I can give you answers about anything. If you want to know more about this stuff, we are always hiring nearly all the time and nearly all everywhere in the world. So if you want to go to Sofia, you can also find a job and takeaway in there. Other than that, just reach me or go to the careers page if you want to look into it. My team specifically is related with restaurant logistics. Just to tell you that, I just wanted to put it as a note.
Cool. I posted Sabrican's Twitter URL in the chat, so you can reach out to Sabrican. And I think that's all. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed doing this, and thank you so much for your time. And thanks everyone for watching. And I personally really, really enjoyed this, and we will see each other again soon. I promise. Thanks a lot, Sabrican.
Thank you, Candace, for inviting me.
Okay, everyone. Bye-bye. See you later.
Ciao, ciao.